The standard marathon taper advice wasn't written for us. 3 weeks before the biggest race of my life, I was lying in bed at 2 a.m., convinced I'd blown it. Legs like concrete, a phantom knee ache that appeared from nowhere, and the voice, the one that spent 20 years telling me I was too fat to run. It was back. You're losing everything. You're going to forget how to run. I nearly went out and ran 10 miles at midnight just to prove I still could. Turns out that was exactly what was supposed to happen. Recovery at 45 is not the same as recovery at 25. Everything just takes longer. The soreness that used to clear in a day or two hangs around for two. The fatigue stacks deeper. And the taper is where all that comes to a head. I had no idea how this was going to go. Here's the thing, the core goal is the same for everyone. Shed the fatigue, hold on to the fitness, but how do you get there over 40? Different playbook. And I learned it the hard way, in the middle of my training block. 1 minute I was flying, the next I was just surviving. Every run felt harder than the 20 miler from a month ago. My chest was tight, my legs felt like they were running through treacle. I was absolutely convinced the fitness was draining out of me by the hour. But here's what actually is happening, and nobody explains this. You can't gain any real fitness in the last 2 or 3 weeks. The work is already done. That heavy, sluggish feeling, it's not you getting slower, it's your body finally shredding the deep fatigue it's been carrying for months. You're not losing fitness, you're absorbing it. Race week, 15 to 20 miles total, no long run. One job, turn up with everything in the tank. And then another quieter voice cut through the noise. Most runners cut the volume and intensity. They stop doing anything fast, and that's the mistake. Cut the volume, but keep a little intensity, just enough to remind your nervous system what race pace feels like, just enough to keep the snap in your legs. 3 weeks out, one last quality session, shorter than normal. If you normally do 10 miles at marathon pace, do 6. 2 weeks out, much shorter, a few miles up pace or 3 times 1 mile at a controlled effort. The total fast running should be tiny. Race week, one short, sharper on Tuesday or Wednesday, a few 2 minute pickups at marathon pace with plenty of jogging bit in between. The goal is feel not fatigue. You're not proving anything. Hay is in the barn. So here's what I want to know from you, and drop this in the comments. I read everyone. What does your taper normally look like? Do you cut everything, including intensity, or are you one that you can't bear to slow down and keeps running hard right into race week? Be honest, because I've been both, and I want to know which camp you're in. If you've ever hit race week feeling like a fraud who forgot how to run, hit that like button. Let's see how many of us are in the same boat. This stuff isn't maintenance during the taper, it's performance. Sleep 7 to 9 hours, not a target, a minimum. I know kids, life, job, that doesn't care about your marathon. But this is the one window where sleep isn't optional. It's training. I've gone to bed at 9 p.m. more times than I can count during this block. My wife gave me the look. Worth it? Nutrition, final 2 to 3 days. Your carb loading, 8 to 12 grams of carbohydrates per kilogram of body weight. Everything comes from pasta, rice, bread, potatoes, a plate the size of your head. Find what sits well in your stomach and don't experiment. Hydration, water bottle glued to your hand all day. Last 48 hours, add electrolytes. Make it boring. Make it automatic. And stress, cut everything else. No heavy leg day in race week. Your body doesn't distinguish between training stress and life stress. It's all just fatigue. It's all cost you. The taper is that lovely period where every twinge feels like a career ending injury. You're sluggish, you're heavy, you're absolutely convinced you lost everything. Welcome to the club. It's completely normal. I've been through it, I'll go through it again. The 16 weeks you put in, they don't just disappear in 2 weeks of rest. They're still there. They're just waiting. The terrible prep, the thing that should have ruined my race, it's actually what made it possible. I stood on that start line with dead legs, terrible sleep, and zero confidence. And I ran the race of my life because the taper had done its job. While I was busy panicking, yours is doing the same thing. Trust it. If you're training for something big and want the honest, unfiltered version of what it actually takes, subscribe and come along for the run. I'm not a coach, I'm not an elite, just a middle aged guy who spent 20 years obese and is now chasing a sub 4. No highlight reel, just the real thing. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.